Good morning and welcome to Gunner Shot, or rather, good evening and welcome to Gunner Shot. Gunner Shot में आप सबका स्वागत है. Today we're going to talk about the technology maxims for the army. Few days back, I'd gone to the College of Combat, that is the Army War College, and I spoke to a lot of officers out there, and including to outstation officers from there on a video conference, a whole lot of officers. And it included officers who were in command of formations. And I spoke to them about technology and the technology maxims for the Indian Army. Oh, interestingly, I interacted with a lot of officers who were in Wapsindur and all that. And they tell me, and I have no doubts to believe them, and they told it with a lot of pride and josh, that the damage which Pakistan has suffered, right, is much more than what is reported. And that's interesting because this is the first time I really got a feel from people who are actually in command and who are firing and things like that. That's the first thing. The second thing is everyone talks of drones, this, that, all that. And I, the sense I got from all speakers there is, look, drones are not a issue that we don't have. We have adequate drones. The Indian Army has managed to get hold of drones to fight, even if it's Chinese. Nothing like fighting the Chinese with the Chinese drones, right? And they know how to go about doing things. They're quite confident about the whole story, but they need solutions beyond what the immediate is. It is in this context that I, discussed technology, how to get it, everything. Oh, then Rajiv Narayanan was also with me. Unfortunately, he's today committed somewhere. He's just traveling back, so I didn't get him over. But we spoke and we gave our gyan to what it's worth to the officers of the Indian Army. And had an interaction with a lot of people who are pretty senior, who are on the holding the reins in the Indian Army in some form or the other. So I thought I'd share what I gave, a gist of what I shared in that conference, to let you know, all know that look, what I talk is what I preach, and whatever I comes in this channel is what is something which is on ground and practical, and it is in sync with what our armed forces do. If you feel my whole story is boring, well, the armed forces are boring, as simple as that. And that gives me the ability, and for me, it's a great learning when I go there because it gives me the ability to understand what's happening in the army and not just talk in the air. हवा में बात करने के हमारा उद्देश्य नहीं है, right? So we have to have faith in our youngsters, and they're doing a damn good job. And that's the thing which I wanted to start with. The second thing, look at this. Look at this picture carefully. I showed it to everyone. And, very interestingly, this is, you'll see this. I'm there, the chief's there, and other senior officers are there. Behind this is the deputy chief, and this is the boss of the Army Design Bureau. All this. This photograph is not new, it's an old photograph. This photograph was taken during the inauguration of Agnishodh in IIT Madras. That is when the chief came. In fact, half covered here is the director of IIT Madras. Now, what are they showing him here? What is this? This is an AI-powered drone. Just in this, a handful of it. Okay, it's just a small thing. It weighs about 50 grams. Interesting drone. This drone, you can speak to it in Portuguese, it will reply to in Hindi. It has the capability of having a look at its surroundings and identifying what's there. and telling you what's there. And I demonstrated this to the chief. And I must tell you the story. Why am I telling you? It's not as if we don't have the technology. And this small thing, just think. Last year, there was a senior officer who came to IIT Madras, and he said, "What we need is micro stuff and things, the normal wish list." I said, "Done." So we put a couple of youngsters on it, and now when the chief came, we showed it. Within a matter of 1 year, we could put an AI-powered micro drone flying, real, not in the air, or technology, without a Chinese component, with components which are available off, I wouldn't say off the shelf, because those components are available in any market. Any electronics market, you will get those components. Now comes the interesting part. Made by two of our students. And we can scale it up to manufacturing within, say, 6 months. In 6 months, we can have a factory of which can produce these small drones as per requirements. Uh, Ideal for small team ops, paracommandos, uh, insertion ops, all that. It's quite a thing. And of course, this is just the prototype which we showed. It can be customized, made a little bigger, smaller, with a better range. It can be customized to requirement. Here comes the next part. We showed all this to the chief, but there's no follow-up. What do I do? No follow-up. No one has come back and said, okay, this is what we have. How should we take it and convert into capability? And then what is this youngster who's made this AI-powered drone? What will he do? He's a startup. It's a half-baked startup. In fact, it's a startup funded by, the institute. He'll either fizzle out, or he'll take this idea and go and sell it in the international market. Because he's got a winner. Right? So, there are issues in our own system. And that's what I put it across to everyone. Why am I saying? I'm not blaming the army for not having come back and ordered 10,000 of these drones. No. They would be coming. I'm sure they'll come. But the fact is that in India, we have this technology. Technology is not an issue. We have adequate technology to fight our wars. What we lack is the capability to harness it. What we lack is the capability to tell everyone that, look, we have these capabilities. And look, you try it and you'll get it. The Pakistanis have tried it, they've got it. The Chinese have understood it. And they'll now no more talk of war. I am very confident of this. But our main problem, I feel, is that we don't know how to harness the technology which we have. We don't know how to trade with the technology we have. We don't know how to tell everyone, look, I have all this. You try this funny stunt with me and I'll sort you out. Strategic communication. Right? So these are the issues which I convey to everyone. Right? And it is in that context, I put this in the current context and I explained, and I'll share these ideas with you. Okay, today we are in an era of multi-domain operations. The second thing, I showed this scheme of multi-domain operations. This is how I feel multi-domain operations will be conducted, right? Or rather, I wouldn't say conducted. This is how multi-domain operations will happen. You have the traditional domains of air, land, and sea. Then you have the technology domains of space, cyberspace, nuclear, and electromagnetic spectrum. Then there are the fundamental domains, cognitive domains, and the resource domains. And these domains are there to stay. You'll fight All our battles will be multidimensional in this framework. Now, in this framework, if you see the major domains in which actual battle will be fought will be in this triangle. The traditional domains, the technology domains, and the cognitive domains. If it is in these three domains, and you see all these are technology heavy, and a whole lot of new technologies are coming in. But how do you make this story go over? And we'll talk of the technologies. I'll talk of the technologies which I've spoken of. And what's more is this chart which I made. And I made it 4 years back in one of the articles I wrote. And today, a lot of people in the army are using this diagram, this Venn diagram of mine. And I'm very happy that people have adopted it. In fact, much later in the day, another officer used this diagram to showcase what he was talking. And this is the way to go forward. Think ahead. So I explained these things to him and I gave them a set of maxims. And these maxims are more important than technology. We have technology, I'll come to that. So the first maxim I gave them, technology doesn't win wars, people win wars. This is something we have to understand very clearly. No technology has won. No technology has won a war for anyone. People have won it. And people use this technology, a particular technology, to maximize it and win it. You look at the battle between USA and Afghanistan recently. Afghanistan had hardly any technology, primitive. USA had the best technology in the world. Yet USA lost. We know it. It didn't have, this is not the first time. Go back to the Vietnam War. Same thing. What happened to USSR in Afghanistan? And what's happening to Russia and Ukraine? Russia is definitely a technologically heavy force. So is Ukraine. But have they won any? Have either of them won a war? They only chalked up small victories. But the war is still, it's not there, despite the high tech items. Every day a new variety of drone comes in, a new tactic comes in, new everything comes in. But the war is not being won. New technology is being inducted into battle. The war is not being won. People talk of Palantir, people talk of Starlinks, yeah, but the war is not being won by anyone. There has to be some logic in this whole story, isn't it? And this is what I keep telling everyone. Technology does not win wars, people win wars. The second maxim, there's always a man machine combination. It's the man and the machine who combine, right, to produce outcomes. Technology has bootstrapped this man machine combination to a different level. The man has become more lethal with the technology and the machine, which is more technically capable. For example, modern technology has enabled you to even replace, traditional air power with missiles and drones. In fact, modern technology has expanded the scope of air power. But you need people to exploit this technology. You need people to exploit this thought process to, you know, impact it on the battle. For example, if you don't have the latest aircraft, so what if you have the latest missile? You can offset. It might be a short-term fix, long-term fix. I couldn't care a damn. I couldn't care a damn which weapon wins me the war. I need to win the war with whatever I have and how I best use it. And this is something which I put across to everyone in a very clear manner. And this is something which we all need to understand. That's what we did in Op Sindhu. On day two, we didn't fly. We said grounded, rectified our problems. Third day, we went up, changed the tactics. You bootstrapped your man-machine combination to a different level and hit Pakistan where it mattered. And these maxims are not hanging in air. These are derived from Op Sindhu. The, this is a old favorite of mine. Technology bought is costly. You buy technology, it's pretty much unaffordable. Technology which is homegrown is cheap. So what do? You make your own technology. You make your own technology so that you use the technology for your own offense, defense, your national strategy, as per your national strategy, wherever you want. And then you can sell this technology. Or I wouldn't say sell this technology, use this technology, make weapons or systems out of it, and sell them and increase your economy. With that comes a thing called military diplomacy. Technology enables you that to do that. You need to make technology costly for the other guy, not for yourself. So that's the importance of technology. We need to make it on our own, whatever. Okay, you have one technology, you don't have another technology, trade. You say, okay, let's get into a joint production or a joint development where you give this technology, I give this technology, put these technologies together, we make a weapon system. Are we doing that? Are we thinking of that? We are not. We are not in the game to think like that. Unfortunately, neither our bureaucrats are thinking like this, nor is the army thinking in this manner. Armed forces. And this is a thing which I went and seeded. It's time we started doing this because there are a lot of technologies and capacities which you have, which lends yourself to do this. And the prime example for all this is BrahMos. What happened? BrahMos. Certain technologies the Russians had, certain technologies we had. We put it together, got out a machine, put it to use. It's damn good. The same missile today you're selling, you're going to make money out of it. So you have to make your own technology. There's no choice. What's the fourth maxim? It doesn't matter how latest the technology is. If that technology can make you win the war, that's the best technology. It might not be the latest. It might be one generation old. We need to seek effective technologies which are consistent with our needs and battle practices, and we need to shun these glossies. Many of you come, oh, Su-57, oh, this, oh, that, stealth, yeah, oh. These are glossies. Without stealth, you can't fight a battle. These are all things which you imagine. When you get on ground, you start assessing, and you start assessing by many things. One odd thing you can't make out, you can handle the situation. But if you employ a technology, it might be outdated, but you're a master at it. And that blends well with your weapon system. And you have the full grip on how to handle that technology in battle. Boy, it'll win you a war. And the best thing is what happened in Op Sindhu. We used L60, L70 guns. L70 guns are 50 years old. You did an upgrade on them. The gun is beautiful. The 40 gun is fantastic. It will bring down any aircraft. So you put a good fire computer on them. You put, communications. You network them, and you network them with Akash space. Simple technologies, and you downed Pakistani uh, aircraft, not aircraft, drones. That has now come out in the Australian ASPE report. See the ASPI report, it very clearly says India might have lost a couple of aircraft. They've said three. Okay, I'll go with three. I don't know how many we've lost. In my own view, we wouldn't have lost more than two, but he says three, I'll say with three. It is after that, India lost nothing. India hammered Pakistan. He said, and they brought down a whole lot of Pakistani drones. How were these Pakistani drones brought down? They are not brought down by the latest technologies which is available in the West. They were brought down by old technology, old weapon systems, upgraded with whatever technology we had. And if that brought down 300 drones or 500 drones or 1,000 drones, or for that period of 88 hours, Pakistan could not intrude into our airspace with their drones. With that technology, that's the best technology. Why do you need better technology than that? And why do you want to pay more when you can do something with less? Something you're comfortable with. And the latest technology might not function in war. We saw that happening with the Chinese systems. So the fact is that you don't need the best technology. Don't run after the best technology. Make use of the technology which you have imaginatively. The next point, the battlefield remains unhygienic. It's all about blood, guts, and glory, and in tough terrain. It challenges technology. Technology doesn't work in high altitudes. It fails. You saw the number of PL-15s which went dud, the Chinese technologies. When people are actually acting and start firing and everything, there's dirt around, there's smoke going around, people are dying, people are getting evacuated, people are in panic. And at that time, the soldier is also reacting in panic and firing at the opposition, firing at the enemy. Many times he probably doesn't even know what he's doing. It comes naturally. And at that time, technology gets challenged. Because if the technology is not tested, it fails. It has to be suitable to the terrain and the operational condition and that man on ground. And that is something which we had a lot of discussion on. You don't need the best technology. The Taliban never had the best technology. They never. And you look at Afghanistan. Afghanistan, you today say the graveyard of weapons. Well, the next thing is our men handle technology better than the most. We underestimate our own people. Let me put it this way. My own experience. And this is something which I shared with anyone. 84, Bofors came. I was just a young captain. The first set of Bofors came. I was an instructor in the school of artillery and I was teaching gunnery. Uh, four of my compatriots went to Sweden to get these guns. They got trained there and came back. We were the next lot who trained on this gun in India. And we were all worried initially, will our men pick it up? Because at that point of time in 84, this is one of the most modern gun systems. There's no more modern gun system in the world than the Bofors. Top of the line. Even now, it's one of the top of the line guns with upgradations. And there are scope for upgradations. And we didn't know whether our men could handle those computers, those night sights, the driving systems, the laying systems, the hydraulics. I'm just giving you a few things. And how to maintain, because it's a complicated gun. But I found in a matter of about 2 to 3 months, our men were on the ball. And today, we are masters of this Bofors. After all, it won the Kargil war for us. And much later, when we wanted to make the Dhanush, the Ordnance Factory Board guys They had the drawings of the Dhanush, to not the Dhanush, of the bow first, based on which they could make this Dhanush. They started making, but they couldn't. I mean, they were struggling. So one day I was speaking to one of those fellows. They said, "Sir, can you give us a few people who know how to handle a gun?" I said, "Sure." So I gave them a detachment, a gun detachment full. I said, "Use them." Time passed. It just so happened the unit from where I gave them a full detachment, that unit had to go to field area. So that unit came to me and said, "Sir, can you give our detachment back? We are going to a field area." I said, "Yeah, sure." So I passed orders, take this detachment, give another detachment from some other unit, which is in a peace station, to the OFB to make this gun. Immediately, the guy who was making this gun came back to me and said, "Sir, please don't take these boys off." I said, "Why?" He says, "These guys know more about how to make a Dhanush than I." I said, "Ah, what?" He says, "Yeah, they tell me how to, where I am going wrong." I said, "Yeah, they're just guys, the second, third generation chaps who are handling this." Because that detachment was definitely not there when the gun came in 84. They're all these chaps have got, recruited into the army. Even the Hawaldar had about 15, 16 years service only. Around 2000. I said, "Ye kaun sa?" It is they know technology. Your men know things much better than most of us do. I said, "Yeah, this is very good. They're right." And once I remember, I still remember, so we were seeing this gun firing, Dhanush. And I was standing behind the gun with this guy who I would call, for want of a better word, the best chief designer of that gun and the architect of that gun. We were sitting behind and the gun was firing. There's some issue in that gun. So we wouldn't know where the gun, what was wrong with that whole story. So I looked at it. I said, "Okay, let's go to the OP end. Let's see where the rounds are falling, the shells are following." So I went to the thing, saw where the shells are falling, came back to the gun. I said, "Fire more," fired. Then after that, I told that fellow, I said, "Look, your problem is in this particular place. Your hydraulic lines here are mixed." He said, "Sir, it can't happen." I said, "It's happening. Check." He said, "नहीं नहीं sir, ये तो हो नहीं सकता." I said, "भैया, जो मैं what I'm seeing on ground is this. This is how it is, and my technology tells me, my sense of technology, this is the defect in this gun." Then I called one of the detachment, the guy who was there. I asked, "Is there a problem in this?" He said, "Yes, sir." मैंने कहा, "क्यों नहीं बताया इनको?" कहता, "सर, हमें थोड़ा हम हिचकिचा रहे थे. I was a little shy to tell that they're going wrong." So we rectified it, and then the gun started firing well. Of course, that happened after some time. So the gun had to be taken back to Jabalpur, stripped apart, re-engineered, taken. But after 3 months, we were firing. We underestimate our men. We underestimate ourselves in technology. That is a danger which we need to understand it. If we can exploit our men who handle technology on ground, not the guys who maintain, not the guys who repair, the guys who actually fire with them, who actually use weapon systems, who actually communicate, they're damn good. They're the best. And we don't use it. Well, I would like a thing to be done much better. Today, after all, every vegetable seller knows how to handle a mobile. And a smart mobile has GPS, WhatsApp, yeah, everything. Even a guy, Blinkit and all these Amazon fellows know how to use GPS. Map, location based though, link based though. So they know they can handle technology. So we need to exploit this capability. Then the next thing, there is adequate technology and capability in the country. That's why I showed the first picture I showed to them was an AI powered drone. I said, "Do you know that this exists?" So in that hall, which had over 400 people, said, "Sir, we didn't know that such capability exists." And then, of course, I explained to them other capabilities which are there. And I explained to them what I'm doing in IIT Madras in terms of technology and where we are and all. Yeah, definitely. We might not have technology which is the latest, is what is happening in America, but what technology we need for our weapon systems, we have the capability to slap it on. And do you need that kind of technology always? You don't need. I'll come to it a little later. So you need to harness the technology which you have in this country. If you cannot harness the technology which you have in this country, you're dead. Because we have not been able to harness the technology which we have in this country, we are having a problem with our aircraft. Because of the fact that we cannot harness the technology we have in our country, we can't harness it, we don't have the capability, we are lagging behind in many fields, whether it's a tank or whether it's a aircraft or whether it's a helicopter or a night vision system, yeah, all that. I still remember the first metro train which was being built by Mr. Sridharan. I go back, Delhi. He, he made it. Some borrowed technology, some local technology, but he put together a metro system. Today, every city in India has a metro system. And I know it because I stay next to a metro station in Chennai, which is going to be a major hub, right? Just about 100 meters from my house. And Chennai Metro is developing on something like grid basis. You can catch a metro from any point in the city to any point in the city is their ultimate thing, and that's the way it's progressing at pace. So, matter of about 10-15 years, the whole metro scene in India has changed with homegrown technology. Today, everything is homegrown. So, we have technology. Yeah, certain technologies we might not have. That's okay. Get it. But you can minimize it. You use these maxims. I also said technology bought is costly, technology made is cheap. You need to put all this together. I mean, just think GCCs, what is Global Capability Center? India is the leading global destination for global capability centers. There are somewhere between 1700 to 1900. They need to be mapped. And where are they? They're in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Delhi, Pune, Bombay, and Chennai. And people are going to tier 2 cities because it's cheaper to go there. And these are strategic innovation hubs. They do technology, analytics, and R&D for foreign companies. General Raj Shukla came, he spoke of civil military fusion. Time for us to do civil military fusion. And these centers are supported by a large pool of skilled talent, cost efficiency, robust infrastructure, and supportive government policies. Can we tap onto them? I mean, just think Lloyd's Insurance. Lloyd's is shipping insurance, global shipping insurance. A lot of frauds in that, incidentally. They have, Lloyd's has his own intelligence on this shipping and shipping insurance. Their capability center is in Chennai, they're making it in Chennai. Then if they're making it in Chennai, is there something we can get out of to modernize our own intelligence setup? After all, this is what the Chinese did. What did the Chinese do? Why did Chinese develop their own technology? They, whatever was set up in China, they aped it and made it in their own. So isn't it time we take this aspect out of China? So there are a lot of things we can do. And this is what I spoke. Get the maxim, the next maxim number 8. Get the process right, outcomes will follow. and they will surprise you. If your processes are right, you do the right thing from first principles, you will be surprised at the outcomes. And then my personal experience. And there will be unintended areas where outcomes will come up. And you have to harness that. Right? Look, this is the first ramjet which is I'm showing. First time I'm showing this firing to anyone. I've shown it at the beginning of my, thing. This is it. Okay. This is a 76 mm ramjet projectile. It's a half scale model of the 155 mm. We did this, right? And I showed this. This is the ramjet propelled artillery shell. We are planning to virtually double the ranges at which we are firing. Right? And if we are able to double the ranges at which we are firing and all that, that's fine. We'll get it. And I'm going next week for that firing. We'll see where it goes because we are not at that stage where I can tell you exactly this will happen. It's a project. It just costed us 12.5 crores. Maybe it'll go to 15 crores. You go and buy this technology, it'll cost you 1,000 crores or more. But what's more interesting is that we have now breeder technologies. We're getting technologies, we're learning technologies of guidance, accuracy, precision, AI based design, semiconductors, propulsion, new technologies in propulsion, additive manufacturing, communication, networking, all these new technologies we are putting into this mix by just starting with the idea of doubling the range. What's the maximum number? 9. Work for the long term. Don't, not a tenure. Army officers have a habit of working for the tenure. I've assumed an appointment. I'll be here for 2 years, so I get my success in 2 years and run off. We need to work for the long term. Technology cycles are initially long and incredibly short later on. Need to be prepared. That's what I keep telling my people in IIT. We started with a ramjet shell. We've landed with a capability in technology in various other spheres. Now we're in a faster mode to harness those technologies. I call them the breeder technologies, fast breeder technologies. So can you harness them? Yes, of course. Unless you are conscious of doing it, you'll never do it. The system has to work for it. And don't look at the outcome within 1 year, 2 years. Don't. वो पुराना है वो कहानी. काम करो फल के मत देखो फल अपने आप आएगा. When you put a tree, it doesn't give you fruit. You don't get the fruit if you plant a tree. The guy who plants, who gets the fruit is probably your son or someone else down the line. Get to that thinking. And institutionally, you should think. Don't be scared of failure. Maxim number 10. Don't worry about failure. If you do not fail, you will fail to succeed. And this is what I showed to everyone. If we are not prepared to fail before we succeed, we will definitely fail to succeed. And this is my way of thinking. You have to fail. And failure teaches you. There's more to learn in failure than in success. And no one succeeds immediately. Don't think the Chinese are successful in every technology they talk of. They're damn unsuccessful. But they're prepared to fail. They don't talk propaganda wise, but they're prepared to fail. That is why they're going ahead. Not us. We are failing because we're scared of failure. They say now, show me that horseman who has not fallen 7 times. A good horseman falls 7 times off the horse. These are the technologies which one has to look for. I mean, in this century, these technologies won't change. They're there. They're there on a permanent basis. Quantum computing, AI. It's not rocket technology I'm talking of. I have spoken of this many times. Okay. AI, cyber, communication, networking, space, additive manufacturing, semiconductors, energy, synthetic biology, cloud, propulsion, robotics, and unmanned systems. I've spoken of this many times. And these are all interconnected. You make a breakthrough in one, you get to the other. It happens. I can say this with my own experience. And technologies per se have no value. You have to convert these technologies into systems. Whether it is for battlefield, transparency, reaches, range, precision, networks, energy, mobility, survivability, for all these things which you want on the battle, it's a bevy of technologies which you have to integrate together. And for that, you need to have the idea. You want battlefield transparency, you have space capability, you have GIS, you have manned unmanned systems, you have night vision, you have AI. You put them in a packet, put them in different packets, put different layers, and you'll get battlefield transparency. It's a thought. All this I did discuss with them in great detail, much great detail than what I'm talking now. Or the linear model of modernization has failed. The DRDO, OFB, import. This was good for a earlier generation. Not anymore. You need to get into a radial form. You have to drive all these chaps, the DRDO, DPSUs, industry, startups, academia, ISRO, DAE, CSIR, or labs. There are about over 30 CSIR labs capability. The government itself, you have to drive media, and then these global capability centers. You have to harness this ecosystem. When I say drive a radial system, you have to harness this. Harnessing is not only about technology, harnessing is putting a structure. And today, for the new technologies which I spoke, you need a new armed forces are the only one who can put together industry, startups, and academia and the private players. Industry is private players, not the public sector, and put them together and get a new thing. If you want something new, you have to go there. Are we going there enough? We don't have a. We have the Army Design Bureau who's doing it, but you need to do it at scale. I mean, this is what I told everyone. The guy who's on fighting on ground, it's his need. The need to have a modern weapon system or a good weapon system which can defeat the enemy is not the requirement of the politician. It's not the requirement of the government. It's not the requirement of the MOD or the industry or academia. It is the requirement of the soldier who needs it. For that, you need to have strong internal systems. Unless you have strong internal systems, you can't go ahead. You have to build them. Right? And if you see that my thrust is, look, you have adequate. You have adequate to handle Pakistan and China. That's my view. It's my considered view. You have adequate models. Harness it. You need to upgrade systems to modern standards rather than inventing new systems. We have beautiful models in the Indian Army of how artillery modernized, air defense modernized, which we saw in Op Sindoor, and signals or communications were fantastic. Use these models. How did they modernize for the rest of the army? And use their models to take it to the next level. Which another thing, give money to units at the grassroots level. Give ideas because the young people at the bottom of the pyramid, they know technology better than I. I'm an old guy. I don't know how to code. It's a young chap in the unit who knows. He's the one who will gel well with my IIT student. They think on the same wavelength. They are the same age group. Let them interact with young techies from IITs and wherever. You need to exploit academia. They're vastly underexploited. Internships, projects, ideation sessions, the works. GCCs, which I spoke. Of course, there's a technical thing which I said technology and Atmanirbharta has to be a command function. Don't make commanders if they cannot create Atmanirbharta. The normal tendency amongst all of us is, oh, I am a good fighter. If I'm given a weapon, I'll fight. That's not it. It's time that army says, I will make my weapon and I'll fight with it. You need competitive innovation and research models. And you need to incentivize research. A chap who gets success needs incentive to go up. Right? These are some of the things which I spoke. And I thought I'll share it with all of you. I mean, you must be thinking, what is this old man going and talking to people in seminars and all that? This is what I talk. I thought I'll share it with all of you. If you like this video, do press the like button, share it with your friends, and also subscribe to Gana Shot and join me as members. I'll be more than happy. But more importantly, share it with people. You who are the public should know how the Indian Army is going. And I am confident. Look, just because I've said all this has to be done, it doesn't mean that all this is not being done. Op Sindur tells us. Op Sindur tells us all this. So let's see where we go on all this. Right? I just thought I'll put this across. So what I'm going to do tomorrow is we will handle one of the three. Either we talk of India or we talk of Pakistan, what's happening there, or we'll talk of Bangladesh. And of course, I have to talk to you about Arunachal Pradesh. And I'm not yet fully ready on that, but it'll take me a day or two. I'll talk of that also one of these days. No, the travelogue to Arunachal. And Arunachal is such a huge state. I'll do it over three pieces. One, I'll talk of Bumla, West Kemeng sector, the Kemeng sector. And then, of course, we'll talk of the rest of Arunachal Pradesh in two different bits. All right. So this is what I thought I'll put across to all of you. So the next 3-4 sessions, which are not common, which I do with others, my own, I'll do all these. But tomorrow maybe we'll talk of Pakistan or maybe we'll talk of India because certain things are happening in India which are very important. After all, we've clocked 8.2% GDP, right? And ASPI has said that you are the third major power. So we'll need to understand where all we are going and how we are going. What are the challenges ahead? Right. I'll take a few questions and everything. First and foremost, thanks a lot, Srinivas Sheshadri, right? Srinivasan Sheshadri for joining me as a member. I'd also like to thank Watch Deals 4477 who joined us as a member. And of course, Thought Provocator also as well. Munir pardon the Turkid Imran Khan. We'll talk of it tomorrow because there's certain things which are happening, I think, which we need to talk of. Yeah, nice YouTube thumbnail picture, sir. Please ignore the rude people from Bangladesh. That's okay, not a problem, not an issue. Great to listen to this. Thank you. Thanks a lot for all that. Vishwanathan, good evening. Ashish Hagde, good evening. Narendran, good evening. And We've got the best man behind the machine. Lata Sundar says, yes, the best brains, commanders in it. No doubt about it. But we have to make them work for getting the best technology or the most effective technology. We need to do that. Yeah, fighting with Chinese drones, that was hilarious. Where are the armed forces in regard to integration of weapon systems? We are very good. We are very good. We are very good. That's why I said you need to harness it better. We have to take it to the next level. Integration we've done, right? We've done it very well. We've done upgrade. After all, we've maintained the mix for over 50 years and upgraded them. So we have the capability. The best, all the best for the Ramjet shell. Thank you. Can it be made for motor applications too? If secret, no need to answer, sir. No, you can. Answer it technologically. You can. There are certain ways of doing it, and we are looking at it. Nothing is lost. I said we have a lot of breeder technologies, you know, second order technology. So Ramjet is one technology. You will get more technologies, but definitely we're going to apply it to our rocket systems, where you're going to give a massive jump. So all this is happening. Okay. Can you do one session with complete historical docs and history of Arunachal? Because the Chinese produce fake documents and argue to defeat Chinese narrative. Yeah, we'll start in that. We'll start that. We'll do that also. I'll put a mixture of everything so that you understand the whole lot. Okay. Um, yeah, Kiran, good evening. Sorry. Kiran, good evening, and Praval, good evening. Right, we'll do it, and then of course, a whole lot of you. Then, yeah. How critical is recent test of K5 missile? Very critical. All missile tests are critical. They prove that capability. That's the thing. Yeah, Mohit Pirzada is saying it's like putting a gun on his head. Yeah, naturally, because it's underwater. The thing with K5 is it's underwater. Can technology help with enabling Pakistan people stand up against a dangerous dictator like Bangladesh? No, I don't think so. Pakistan is a basket case. We'll talk of it tomorrow or day after. Is Trump going to airstrike Venezuela? Let's see. It's anybody's guess. Who can think of what Trump is doing? Yeah, talk is cheap. We must make our own. I agree with you. I agree with you completely. Hmm. Yeah. None of them are supporting startups that have good ideas that stand up for more than. Look, that's the point I'm trying to get, Ravi. That's what the discussion was all about. And they're evolving. The armed forces are evolving. Everything takes time. We shouldn't be like Chinese. You do things like Chinese, you'll go out like Chinese. Okay. New tech is weak but has weaknesses as well, and old technology has resilience. I would say a happy mix of the old and the new is the best way forward. Okay, okay. I have a lot of I am fine with India's military power and power projection, and what we lack is strategic power projection and posturing. We have always been defensive strategically and diplomatically. We have to be offensive. All you have to get to that, you need to upgrade your strategic communication. The day you do that, everything will change, right? Yeah, you're absolutely right. Terrain specific weapons and deception is far more important for operations than ultra modern weaponry, which works only in specific terrain. Yeah, I agree with you completely. Yeah, maintenance guys have better product knowledge than the maker. So there's a general opinion that our Agniveers are very quick to adopt to new tech, especially drone tech. I don't think so. Not necessarily right. Okay. So sounds like your troops are key in defining performance metrics and field testing feedback. That makes a lot of they are. There's no doubt. Well done, sir. You have pointed out a major flaw in our system. We are missing out seriously on human potential. We are not missing out. We are not harnessing it. That's the more thing. There's adequate capability. You need to harness it. Why is Dhanush not inducted? The hardware not developed further to make it formidable system? Should the private manufacturer? They went into a problem. They lost track. See, this is the problem of our system. At some point of time, many parts of our system just go loose. And unfortunately, it happened because of political interference. I'll not say more than that at this point of time. Contribution of Sri Sridharan is significant. It is now only that we realize it because in Delhi you can find a metro from virtually anywhere. I have seen the Mumbai metro also. Yeah, I agree with you. Uh, you are a God-sent person at this age. You're guiding the generations. It's a great service. So thanks a lot, but it's not. I'm not God-sent. I'm a normal human being doing my normal job for the nation. Yeah, got it. Follow the process, enjoy the journey, think long term, and do care for the results, but not to the extent of not trying at all. Repetitively keep upgrading your knowledge. Wow, yeah, that's the way to go forward. Right. Um. Okay. You're making more sense than any young Gen Z advice is the best form as best from you. Thanks a lot. I'm not trying to demean or Gen Z or anything. They have their wonderful ideas. What they lack is experience. If you can add the experience and their youth, then you'll get the best thing. That's part of harnessing technology. Your recommendations are very valid, but how feasible are they for a defensively mind oriented military? We are not expansionists, don't start conflicts. How do you does career progress? Look, let me tell you, they wouldn't, these people, whether the National Defense College or the Army War College, they won't call me repetitively if they didn't have ideas to take from me or learn or implement. And I know they are doing it. So to think that they're not doing it would be wrong. But we need to reinforce what we think and we need to point out to them how to go ahead and they do it. Okay. So I wouldn't say that they don't do it. They, because they've been doing it, we've been winning wars. Understand that. How do you compare the K9 Vajra versus the M777? Completely two different guns. You need both, and both are good. Regarding harnessing the existing and future technology, why don't we have a lobby of experts who would specially look for indigenous tech for civil defense, like a think tank? Or we need it. We have the Army Design Bureau. We have Claus. We have Senjos. We have. It's not as if we don't have it. We have. Once again, a thought-provoking topic, a meticulously detailed coverage. Thank you. Thanks a lot. The idea is to give the best knowledge I can officially. I wouldn't say unofficially, demi-officially, within what I can out of the security thing to people to know things are going in the right direction. Don't worry. Yeah, Parth Sane, thanks for joining as a member for 4 months. We will see more opening of manufacturing of defense tech like laser systems that was announced for an expression of interest. If so, which it will happen. It will happen. It's already happening, right? A lot of technologies are getting into the armed forces at very less, at lower levels. It's like water seeping under the carpet. It's happening. That's all I can tell you. Okay. Turkey is a bigger threat now. They pose crossing illegal. Don't worry about Turkey. We'll talk of Turkey another day. Um, yeah, narrative war is never stopped. So now someone claims yoga is from Pak. Leave them out. We'll talk of Pakistan tomorrow. We'll understand. Okay. Yeah, Maxim 10, the DRDO chief recently said that they're answerable to the parliament in the event of a failure, while the DARPA US are not. This is probably what he, yeah. Gonna shot heading towards 100,000 subscribers mark. I doubt if it's going to happen in a hurry. Right? The number of subscribers are actually falling. Okay. In a day, once upon a time, last month, I used to have hundreds of subscribers in a day. Today, it's 10, 15, 20. So people don't, people want uh, action, which I don't give. Mm. When is Indian Army is registering itself as a political party in India, is all political debate on news channels. That's a good one. I'll put this across in my groups. Um, yeah, India has many village Vigyanis, will Babudam, red tape, corruption, mental bent towards foreign tools, allow anyone, let alone armed forces, to make use of. Yeah, don't worry. We are doing it. I'm doing it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, your program on Sudan was very well covered. Wanted to send you my thanks a lot. I do hope you watch these offbeat programs. They might be offbeat to us, but think of it. For a person who's in Sudan, it's life, his life story. His life is at stake. His everything is at stake. So I'll keep covering such stories as they keep happening. Uh, can the testing period be reduced significantly without compromising on parameters? Yeah, it can. A lot of things have happened. That's what I'm trying to put across. Yes, looks like our major deficiency is metallurgy, be it Dhruv or jet engines. It's not exactly that. We've got enough knowledge of metallurgy. Again, I said we have not been able to harness it. That's the point. The day we harness it, everything will fall in place. Yeah, we have plenty of colleges, can use some cases, research be worked upon as projects. We are doing it. It's happening. It's happening. All this is happening. Okay. Yeah, heavy rains in New Tamil Nadu. Yeah, cyclone Ditwa is coming. So let's see where it happens. Even now it's raining. It's not heavy. And Chennai, we expect tomorrow to have heavy rains. If the rains are heavy, I'll not be able to get back. Hopefully tomorrow morning I should push through a program. Evening, I don't know whether I'll be on air. We'll see. Yeah, this is an experiential thing. I realized the country is progressing when I saw my village 15 years ago. There was nothing, no potable water, no concrete roads, no electricity. Today everything is available. Yeah, I completely agree with you. We will succeed. And we'll talk of it tomorrow. These are the things which we need to realize where we are. And we'll talk of it tomorrow. And at the end, I'll say thanks a lot for joining in. I tried to put across a few points. I am grateful to all of you who have joined in. Join in tomorrow. Most probably, I'll talk of India and how India is progressing. I might miss it out tomorrow evening because of rain, and day after onwards, I'm on a bit of a tangent. So, like December, I'm going to be very irregular because I have to tool off to Pokhran and other things are coming. Right? With this, thank you. Have a great day. Enjoy yourself. See you in the morning at 9 o'clock. Till then, Jai Hind to all of you.